Hola.
Hola.
That's all my Spanish. I'm learning yesterday. I hope those ladies will help me translate it to Spanish, and we have a very good experience with this lecture. Best for the last. Okay. Pure 5 being in business for 25 years in the botanical market. I've been very interested in botanicals since my 15, 16-year age, looking at different benefits of botanicals and how they influence human health. And I figured out the best way to make botanicals work to concentrate it in the best possible way. Botanicals work, but you have to use them for a very long time to see effects. That's why when you provide them in the proper proportion to proper extraction, you can achieve extremely health effects in the body. I want to talk about a lot of things today. And I'm going to limit myself to that amazing plant, the values that it brings to the market, the values that it brings to the people, and how we can enhance and preserve these values during processing and especially extraction. Cannabinoids, everybody knows cannabinoids. There are major 6 cannabinoids that everybody knows, and every single cannabinoid has extremely unique property and function in the human metabolism to support certain cells. For example, THC is the main psychoactive cannabinoid that supports peripheral nervous system. That's why it is good in applying in every neurological condition, improving Alzheimer's, Parkinson, and a lot of other conditions connected to neurological system. CBD is not psychoactive, but it has extremely high value toward the metabolism of collagen. So everything that is connected to our structure, the skin, the internal organs, CBD is one of the best. CBG is the precursor of all the cannabinoids. CBG is the stem cell and supports the stem cells of our organism. It also minimizes the inocular pressure and is very good for helping with glaucoma. CBN is a mildly psychoactive cannabinoid and it's very good for supporting sleep and relax. CBC is in very minor quantities into the plant, but is very strong into supporting our immune system. And THCV is a new discovery of the century because THCV really can regulate the weight loss and the metabolism in a form that we've never experienced before. So what we see on the left are the natural cannabinoids. There is a movement towards allowing pharma to make ingredients with cannabinoids. And now we have 4 approved pharma drugs. And what we're going to see very often, from now on, is synthetic cannabinoids. We need to be able to recognize them and be sure that we maintain the synergy in nature. And we maintain the natural cannabinoids which have much stronger effect in the body. On the left side is a natural cannabinoid. What is the cannabinoid? Cannabinoid is alkaloid, which is this, with a terpene tail. Usually cannabinoids are the medicinal parts of the plant. They are abundant in ginseng, they are abundant in roots and mushrooms, and they are very well known for their medicinal purposes. When you add terpene to it, it becomes oleoresin. That's why extracting of cannabinoids moves to a completely different level than extracting alkaloids, but preserving all the medicinal properties of alkaloid. What's on the right is a synthetic cannabinoid. Usually what the pharma does to synthesize this product. In the molecule, there are three parallel groups. Usually this is the head, this is the body, and this is the tail. When pharma synthesize cannabinoid, they Frankenstein it from 2 or 3 different synthetic ingredients, and it becomes that. Tail is missing, of course, and terpenes are very important in the structure of cannabinoids. That's why we see at least 8 adverse effects on the synthetic cannabinoids. But yeah, they are psychoactive. That's the target of pharma, to get the psychoactive value of the cannabinoids. But then what we're missing, the longevity of use of that molecule. What is very important into extraction? To preserve all the components in the plant. There are 300,000 terpenes in the nature, and about 30,000 are found in cannabis. The more abundant ones are the monoterps and sesquiterps. The monoterps, they have the molecular formula of 10 carbon atoms and 16 hydrogen atoms. Usually you can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's what the monoterpene is. The smallest than that cannabinoid is the isoprene. It's 5 atoms. That's also there. But we don't have any lab that can characterize it right now. So our test report showed monoterps and sesquiterps. So what's with the sesquiterps? Sesquiterps are 15 carbons. Usual representative of the sesquiterps are humulene, cryophyllene, bisobone. So you see that from the COAs. On the monoterps, you have the pinene, the limonene, camphorine, myrcene, and others into that group. When you pick extraction method, be aware that all these are preserved. I'm saying that I'm starting a little from far to show what really we have to have in mind when selecting extraction method. If you use CO2, all monoterps are degraded. They cannot be extracted. They get destroyed in the process. Alcohol is not going to even pull them. They're going to pull only half the sesquiterps because of the high boiling point. And then strains. The future of strain-specific medicine. This is what really I want you guys to stand behind, because the nature is our best formulator. That nature makes every single strain to act differently. And as many different people on the planet, as many different strains, and everyone has a condition they can cure with certain strain. Over here I presented 4 conditions. Usually strains for energy. We call them sativas. And sativas, that's not related to the cannabinoid, believe me. It's related to the terpenes. It's more monoterps than sesquiterps. Limonene, myrcene, that's what it makes it work. So Jack Herer is one of the strains that really can give you creativity without getting your mind fogged. And there are more. You can go literally, you can browse, and you can find your strain. But we have to learn how to preserve that value from the actual strain. Strains for relaxation, we call them indicas. So indicas, they bet more on the sesquiterps, like beta-carotene and other terps. So yes, purple kush, baba kush, they are indica strains. Strains for sex and arousal. Yes, they're also kush. Kush has a lot in it. So these strains, they can elevate not only, they're more hybrid strains. They can elevate not only your energy, but also your desires and experience. strains for euphoric high. So Girl Scouts cookies, Pineapple Express. Again, there are a lot of this. This industry is young. We don't have this data. When we started initially, I would say 7 years ago, I used to go to a lot of conferences, and Oregon was one of the first states, and I was talking to growers, I was talking to patients, and they said, yeah, I got this strain, I grow myself. I got arrested like 3 times, went to jail, but I continue growing because I have a spinal issue, and that's strain. Well, at that time, there were no lab that can test what is in the strain. They were growing it blindly, and they figured out, wow, this works. When the labs were there, they tested it, 5% CBG in it. So, literally, the combination with everything that the plant delivers is very unique. We just need to characterize it. This is a future science, a strain-specific science, and that is what customers will be looking for. Now starts the boring part. Extraction methods. So, mainly 2 extraction types, solventless and solvent. And everything is so subjective. I'll tell you. So, we can start with the rosin press. That was the first that everybody did before the new rise of cannabis and all these machines are going on and people are extracting. Get a paper, press it through hair press, and you get a rosin. So, good thing of the rosin, natural. Bad thing of the rosin goes through heat, and a lot of particles going to be there because you press a dry flower, and you hope that it's really not going to be particles in the extract. Well, if you tap it, okay, but if you turn it to an oil, you have to purify. Ice water hash. According to general law, this is solvent extraction. It doesn't allow water is in play. But usually, this is one of the most popular methods last few years in America and probably around the world as well because the influence is a lot on it. But the yield is terrible. It gets about 30% efficiency because the only part that you can pull out is into the trichomes. You have to be efficient breaking those trichomes to very cold water and getting those trichomes filtered out and eventually pressed. But don't forget that the trichomes, the tube of the trichomes, it's wax. So you're going to end up with about 20% wax in there. So this is a pure wax. It's not like a lipids and some other heavy lipids in there, waxes in there. But still, it's a very, very nice extract. Well, there is one more, which is the hash extraction, which you do through sifting. You can do, that's only on dry flour, and that's very similar to the first one, the rosin press. You're going to end up with some particles into it. But again, this is very low cost. You don't need anything. You just can sift it your own by hand. This is the old-fashioned way of doing hash. The third one is microwave. That was not very successful. I personally tried it, but by my knowledge of microwave and physics, the microwave breaks the molecules, especially the long ones. So the only success they've achieved so far to have some terpenes on it. Cannabinoids I haven't seen successfully extracted with microwave. Hopefully we see some future on this, but so far microwave is just a number in the list. Solvent extraction. Why solvent extraction? Similar, extract similar. That's simple physics. So if you try to extract non-polar ingredients like the cannabinoids and like the terpenes, use non-polar solvents. So that is the best efficient way. And the big distinguishing between solventless and solvent is that the solvent extraction has a window, has clarity. While the solventless is just mechanical extraction, you get everything that you can extract. So with the selectivity and the solvent extraction, you can make different type of oils. With alcohol, That was the first exception oil that was made. Then they figured, okay, alcohol and at room temperature draws a lot of waxes and chlorophyll, so let's cool it down. Cool it to -20, didn't work, so cool it to -40. Okay, then something happened. And why is that? Because again, the physical law of extraction is usually by polarity. The simple, coefficient how we characterize polarity is the electric constant of the solvent. And if the electric constant of the solvent is on ethanol is usually around 24, when it's chilled, it goes to 14. And then you have better selectivity on non-polar molecules. CO2. Old-fashioned. Every pharma book has it inside because it's very flexible method of extraction. You can extract a lot of things, but you gotta be scientists because there are three points that you have to control very precisely: pressure, and temperature, and volume. And you need to know everything about that. When you have a very low dense solvent and you try to pressurize it, your selectivity is not strict. It's very wide. That's why we see a lot of things extracted in there. Usually the oil from the CO2 coming out is very waxy. Maybe light, maybe not very light, but it's waxy. So you gotta go through it. So that defeats the whole purpose of using CO2. But anyway, you have a winterized oil that is nice and pretty after that. Hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon is a non-polar solvent. That's why the effects of it are very good. You have all the terms and all the cannabinoids, but again, in -40. And that's because if you extract at room temperature, it's not going to happen very well. It's going to be very dark and waxy oil. And the fourth is what we've developed, the aerosol extraction. It's literally hydrocarbon. It's fluorinated hydrocarbon, which makes it non-flammable and extracts everything that the hydrocarbons does, but at room temperature. The molecule of aerosol is only 2 carbons. The molecule of butane is 3 carbons. And the molecule of butane is 4 carbons. So the molecule gets larger and it limits extraction of terpenes at a certain point. But the gravity and of the aerosol molecule is like twice bigger than butane, so it's a heavy lifter. It can extract a lot of things, penetrates the tissue easy, and extracts everything that you need because the polarity is right and the dilutive constant is right that matches the terpenes in cannabinoids. That's why with it you can have exceptional flavor that butane doesn't have, but it has terpenes and smell. Different oils extracted with different methods. So a lot of these oils you haven't seen because you see the one on the left, the distillate, and that happened after some post-process. So rosin press, with a paper, press, you get this. Ice water hash, you get perfect. Acid phase of THC, press it, becomes THC. Ethanol extraction, yes, it gets a little darker oil, but after distillation and winterization, because even it is at cold temperatures, it pulls some sugars, it pulls some waxes, slight waxes, but if you distill that, it's going to mess up your distillation system. So you got to winterize it first before you distill. CO2 extraction. That was the main extraction that I developed our extraction against. It was put into the botanical space to extract terpenes, which was impossible at that time, because terpenes you extract fresh. And CO2, when you put the fresh material, every single water molecule turns to carbonic acid under that pressure, and CO2, like oxygen inside, it turns to an acid. pH goes down. What medicinal values are going to do from that extract if it does that? So CO2 oil before winterization and distillation. After distilling, we're going to look on the left. Hydrocarbon extraction. So hydrocarbon extraction again makes good oil. It makes the best hash products because they're waxy. The value of that is in that product, and it is very acceptable not for all states in America now because of some critical limits on explosive control, but it is very popular. And one of the main drivers of the industry so far. Live resin is made that way. And R134A extraction is the one that produces alcohol all the time. You don't need to winterize straight from the machine, right polarity, right terpene profile, right cannabinoid profile. This diagram is a good illustration of every extraction method and what you really pull from the plant. I don't know if I have a laser, but oh yeah, I have. So this over here are all the ingredients into the plant. Starts from the hydrocarbons, very light molecules, go to like more like terpenes, mono and cis terpenes, then goes to ethers, alcohols, and organic acid, and then the water-soluble compounds, alkaloids that we talk about. Like if you remember, we said cannabis alkaloid plus a terpene. So right in between, we're having that properties. That's why we're looking over here in that area where the cannabinoids are, and this is the solubility that we're looking from the solids below. If you use steam, you're not going to get it. You're going to get partial terpenes. If you use hydrocarbon, you're going to get them, but also some extra compounds that you need to winterize. And partially hydrocarbons because they're going to blend and contaminate the solvent instead of purging out. Alcohols. We're talking about 100% pure alcohol over here, extracting mostly the cannabinoids and some extra wax that you need to winterize at a very cold temperatures. When you add water in the alcohol, the solubility moves to the right. That's usually good for alkaloid extract. That's how farmers using water ethanol extraction to extract all these parts of the plant. And then, if it becomes pure water, we extract like this is the tea. You make a tea, you get this. Not much of the cannabinoids. That's why we don't make a tea with the plant. So super critical, very wide selectivity. Low dense gas, you get a lot of these things, but once you filter it through alcohol, you narrow down the selectivity of it to that part. So that's where your distillate comes from. Subcritical, we get churns. We don't get cannabinoids. Unless really we play here with the last mile and be sure that we get some cannabinoids inside. But this process is usually 4 to 5 hours. Very slow. Okay. There are studies that terpenes activate the bioreceptors before the cannabinoid gets there. They are very small molecules, they get first there, they activate the receptor, cannabinoid joins. So almost twice increasing the bioavailability if you use the natural terpenes into the mix. So that helps to reduce the THC dose and the adverse effects because the terpenes, they mitigate everything. They elevate your subconsciousness and you prepare for what the cannabinoid can do for you. It modulates your cannabinoid. It's the less known multiplier, as usually called. Terpenes, they have a big role into how the medicine works. Antioxidant activity. So maintaining pH normal, very essential. That's gonna really your medicine needs to be slightly alkaline, what the plant is, and that's how the medicine works. If it's acid, your diseases are acid. So that's why we try to do a gentle no-heat process, preserving the vitality and the natural potency. Avoid very aggressive oxidation into the process. Mitigate mold and yeast. Now if you remember the diagram before, mold and yeast are water-soluble compounds. If you use solvents that doesn't touch the water-soluble compounds, then not going to have a problem with the mold in yeast. And sure, in Colombia, there's going to be a problem with the mold, especially grown outside. And that is a way to get rid of it. I studied on aerosol extraction. We suppress the mold 1,000 times. It's 100 times less into the extract than in material after extraction, which is already 10 times increased by concentrate. So yeah, that's a clean way to remediate the contaminated plant. I usually tell my customers, extract your whole flower, don't worry about the mold. Color. That's a very discussed topic into the last years because after distillates being all over, the colors start coming back in a different way. I've seen tabletop extraction with ethanol that they say color is good for you, and that's the first step toward educating the customer against what clear at the time educated them that the extract is good when it's clean. These colors, they're coming from the carotenoids. They're very high antioxidants. Carotenoids are into the carrots too. And they have very high age-related, again, popular health effects. Flavonoids. Flavonoids are something that's been talked a lot in the last couple of years, literally, because they've been figured out they're one of the precursors for longevity, and they're very high antioxidants. Anthocyanins and anthocyanins, they are protecting the heart and liver, improving vision. That's the next science into the strain-specific medicine, because you can see all those when you look at your plant, your buds, into microscope, into a magnifying glass. You're going to see these colors, and these colors penetrate straight through. You're going to smoke these colors if you turn the joint when you do ice water extraction also, and they're good to be preserved into the solvent extraction as well. So astaxanthin also is one of the colors in there, the purple color, that improves the stem cell potency. So this is especially the purple strain, it's abundant. It's also in the blueberries. Okay, here's an example of how the aerosol extraction preserves germs. First is the plant. There are about 20 terpenes over here, and they start from Dersin to the geraniol. So they are originally in the plant. Then when you extract the live resin, they are 20 times multiplied in the live resin. Same proportion as you see here, just 20x. You're going to multiply this number, you're going to get this number. So this is not made up, this is an actual COA. It's very difficult to get these COAs, literally, because even you test one bud, the other may a little bit vary. But we tested over number of flower samples and number of the extract after that. In the full spectrum well, which we call hash resin, it's 3x. So you have same terpenes in there. That's why when you make a vape, it really repeats the flower. Farmers are amazed that they can recognize their strain from last year by smoking it, and they usually don't smoke extra. Some numbers. Of course, this talk is about process economics, so I had to put some numbers in here. So I put the most important numbers in here, starting from CAPEX, the facility compliance, based on 20 liter volume, particle size that you need to have to the biomass to extract, the extraction time for each cycle, the efficiency of each extraction, the recovery time, of the solvent, because all of these are solvent. I didn't put here solvent list, which is going to have a different metrics, but they're going to be inflated by the yield. Then how much solvent per run is used, what pressure is done the extraction, what is the recovery efficiency of the solvent itself, solvent loss, solvent cost, what's going to be your cost per run, labor not included, power of each system in kilowatts, energy cost. Usually I took the Arizona energy cost as a baseline, but so that's not much different for the US. I'm not sure what is in Colombia. And what is going to be total per run? And what's going to be your monthly cost if you extract 20 days of the month? And we don't forget that there's a cost to install. So that cost to install includes these two numbers. Because for, let's say, butane, you need to spend that for the system and this for the compliance to build the room. For CO2, is this for the system and this for the compliance to build the sensors and ventilation. For ethanol is this and this to set up your extra ethanol storage, which is usually outside, because they only let you in 50 or 100 liters in indoor storage. Okay, that's pretty much where we finish. I really wanted to talk more about the mechanics. Ask me questions. I love to answer.
Thank you, sir. It seems very interesting. And the thing is, like, I would like to know about this product. And I have checked your catalog already, and I've seen a bunch of products for like facial care and like all of another bunch of services. But the thing is, like, my mom, she's got a timer, right? And I have read that this cannot be the CBD thing. It works as a neuroprotector, and also like anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. So I'm very curious about it, and I would like to know about the products that you sell. Like, what would be the product that you could recommend for my mom, so I can give it like just to try it, because she is already diagnosed and she is taking pills.
I work with a lot of people with issues, and that actually kills me because I prepare multiple recipes by reading about what it works. There are more and more data now on the internet, and I usually read from the scientific library, HIS library, online. And I've done something for multiple sclerosis that actually had a result. And I bet this medicine might be very similar to what condition we have, to that condition. Usually 50%, 50-50 CBD, THC, and 5% CBG. That's a magic recipe for most of this diseases related to both conditions.
I guess that the component that we need is the CBD. I don't know, the THC, I think it's just only the psychoactive thing. But I have heard that actually some like trials, but under the table trials, like for people that they are not officially prescribed, but they have found like good results. Like with people that they have, for example, dementia in like the last stages, they would give them in like in 6 months. That was something that I actually saw on the internet, and they said like they said literally they said we recovered mom. We recovered our mom in only 6 months. This is something I just realized about like a couple of months ago, because I'm a weed user, but I smoke it, right? And I know that is also like the components. I know I trust those components. So I just want to figure out what one of those products that you sell, like what would be the recommendation for mom? Because I've seen like I told you, like I don't see like maybe pills or something. I know nanotechnology, that's good because the neurons know that they could absorb that in a faster way, right?
Yeah, the nanotechnology helps absorbing, but you can take your medicine different ways. You can take it through inhaling, which is going to have the similar effect as nano during ingestion. I would really need to read a little bit more about what you said, but my suggestion is to find a strain with higher CBD and higher THC in there. Maybe
Half and half?
well, even if they're not 50-50, that's
Are you sure the cardamom is not gonna be stoned at the end of the day?
well, it's not gonna give the whole thing. It's just gonna start with 5 milligrams and start because endocannabinoid system, people that haven't used it before, it's clogged. It takes time to open. Usually we're born with it, and after 40 it starts to degrade down. We did a testing in medical academy in Europe. That was pretty much in vitro, in vivo medical testing. I won't say it's clinical trial because it was mostly a PhD of someone that they worked with. And we've seen that CBD in certain proportions, like full spectrum extract, compared to isolate. So full spectrum extract helps 9 out of 10 cancer, that's mostly blood cancer, types extremely well. And how it helps? It decreases the bad proteins, increases the good proteins. So this is the exceptional thing about cannabis, that cannabis is one of those adaptogens that it really brings everything to the normal. If you have a, let's say, low mood, it brings it normal. If you have too overexcited, it brings it to the normal. So that's typical for mushrooms as well. They are adaptogens, and mycelium is a similar type. So cannabis is very same. I think just she needs to start taking it.
So you mean both? You mean THC and cannabinoid at the same time? You mean like they support each other?
Because this is a neurological disease as well. That's why I say maybe you start with 1 to 4 proportion, 1 to THC, 4 to CBD. I have a certain strain. I work with someone with pancreas cancer, and it works very well for him. So I said I probably need to read a little bit more about it because I'm not a doctor. My PhD is in physics, so a little bit. But I read a lot about these things and try to help.
Right, and yeah, I think that's important information. Noted, that was noted.
What did you project to the lights were massive? I saw that only you get 0.0 percentage of it. So who can scale your process? Compete to ethanol? Do you get me the question?
If I repeat the question, what would be benefit of using this solvent against ethanol?
Yeah, but how do you scale it in industrial?
How do I scale it?
Yes.
Okay, I build ethanol machines as well, but we sell them to a different industry. Usually it's for the alcohol side. We have like 1,500 liter ethanol continuous. The aerosol, we have up to 1,000 liters. This is about 12,000 pounds a day, like 6 tons. So usually, I think 200 liter machine that makes about 40 kilograms an hour, like that's 40 pounds an hour. Like processes 40 pounds an hour, can produce 20 to 50 liter oil a day. These are 50,000 products. That's going to be plenty.
And you think it's going to replace ethanol in the near future?
Okay, is it going to replace? I don't know. It's a market that everybody picks their own decision and solution. But for the recreational, there is no competition. Once you taste the oil, once you experience it, I have all kind of cases that I can talk about. That people that never smoked extract, that they just run out of the flower. They found this vape from a trade show, they tried it, and now they're my first customer, 7 machines. It's a lot of things I can talk about experience, but really you have to try it to experience it and then understand. And I'm sure that we're going to be the leader in the recreational market. and eventually that transfer to the medicine. Because really what we do is very inert solvent that is safe, it's not flammable. It's FDA grass, it is pharma approved, it's right there where it needs to be.
Okay, anything else? Anything else? Okay, muchas gracias, George.
Thank you guys.